Hi friends, today we are going to build a recursive menu and let's get started with it. So first of all, I'm assuming you know basic TypeScript, basic React, and you also know about basic recursion, how it looks like and how to write a recursive function. So what a recursive menu looks like. So we have a few menu items here, as you can see in the example. We have menu item 1, 2, and again menu item 2 has sub menu items 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Let's say these sub menu item as children of menu item 2. Similarly, we have a menu item 3 which has children 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. And if you observe, 3.1 also has children 3.1.1, 3.1.3. So the whole idea is checking whether there's a children, then render it. Otherwise, just leave it as it is. So menu item 1 doesn't have children, so we are just going to leave it as it is. Menu item 2 has children, 3 children, so just render them right away. Similarly, 3, we have 3 children, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, but 3.1 also has 3 children here, so we should render them first. So 3.1.1, 3.1.2, then we render 3.2, then 3.3. That's how the whole idea works here. And I hope that you got the idea of recursion here, that we are going to do the same rendering of the component if the children is present. And so if you haven't got till now, so don't worry. We are going to focus on it this whole video, focus about this on this whole video. So let's do it. So firstly, I'm going to have this example here itself. So and create first types for our projects. So always start with types. So this gives a clear data structure, like how the whole item looks like. So first of all, we are going to have a menu item type, which will be having a label, and let's name it the label as React Node. And also we need to import React Node, right? So let's import React Node. And I guess this is how it will be. Yes, and children, as I said, there will be children. So these three are children, right? So these three are again just menu items itself, but an array of menu items. So this may confuse you a bit here. So it's just a menu item. We have 2.1 is again a menu item only, and 2.2 is also again a menu item. 2. But they are in an array of they're an array of under two, or you can say they are the sub menu items of two, item two. So that's why I have to put it inside an array, and name that array as children. So this is the whole type will look like for the menu item. Also, one few more thing that you need to focus here is this whole list that they give, or you say the data or the menu data. Okay, this whole list is also kind of, we need to pass it on to some component, right? Think it about it as a whole list you are passing it. So the whole list, let's say this whole list as menu list, and menu item we have type, and let's make it as menu item props, giving it a React fashion. So menu list props will be also having data, and this data will be menu item props having menu item array of menu item props. So it's just again the same thing, but menu and list props doesn't have the label. It's just the data item that the whole data is being sent at once, which is having a label and children. So that's what about the menu list props. I hope you got the menu list idea. If you haven't got the menu list props idea why we did it, we are going to see it right away in few minutes, I will say, when we are working on components. So this is our whole data structure for menu item and menu list, and you can think it of as a composition. Menu list composes the menu items itself, so it's just like a composite, thinking in composition and React. So not going too much technical, but that's what one, like if you are focusing like core on React, if your main focus is on React, how to build things with it, you should know about composition and React. That's why I felt that I should mention that particular terminology. So let's focus on components. So this is the example component, and it was just rendered like a basic HTML. So you guessed it. So it's nothing. We are not doing any recursion here. Just to show you up how recursion looks like, I created this. So let it be here itself. And also, let me see if we are importing low. So we are not using any index, so we can just safely delete it. I don't prefer that pattern, having all components exported from index. So now let's focus on our core stuff. creating menu item. So first we are going to create a component menu item, put it inside a folder, and let's see, we have a file index of DataSource. So now menu item is again a React functional component, and we are just going to have it something like a div. Instead of having React fragments, let's have it as div. So we get a block level element. That's a block HTML block element, and the props for menu item props. If you recall, we had this in from the types. So menu item props. So we have it from types, and how it looks like. So it looks like menu item props. We have label and children. So let's get those label and children. So now we have label and children. So first of all, we are going to render the label here. Okay, let's render the label. This is the label. Afterwards, we are going to render children, right? So let's render those children. So how do we render the children? First of all, I want to render only when the children is running. Listen it very carefully here. This is the recursion part. I want to render the children or the children only when there's the children element is there, the children property, the children key is defined. So we have children and it is defined. It can be an empty too, but we are considering that we only have defined objects. So let's say children only exist when they are defined, right? So children will be like they are defined and they are not null. And as they are defined, then it will be rendering. So what we are going to render? We are going to render again menu item. This is the recursion. So we are going to render menu item, and but now if you observe, children is an array, right? So we cannot render it directly, so we have to actually map it out. So children dot map, we are going to just, because map will return the list of the objects, the list of the React elements. So here we are going to do that way, and we are going to just make it children.map. We have an item here, and let's make it as item, and we have a key value. Let's format it so it looks beautiful to eyes. And now we have div, and we have the item, sorry, we now we have the access to every item in the children. Now we are going to just render menu item again and spread the whole menu item, the whatever inside the menu item. And once we spread that, and we also need to have a key, right? So let's give it a key. Let's say item dot let's say children, because, or yeah, menu item works, I guess. Yeah, menu item, and we have currently item here, and we also need to have the key value. Let's say item dot label. Let's name it as label, and because it looks a bit good, not it's not rendering the object but a label. And also we can mention as key just to make sure we have all the things. Oh, sorry, item. Sorry, it's should be key. Yeah, let's format it. Okay. Oh, so we have this. Sorry, and I guess now it works. So we have menu item, and we don't need the div here right now because menu item already has those divs. So no extra nodes we need. That's it. This is how the whole menu item will look like. This is about the menu item. So let me explain once again. So menu item, we have a label coming up, and we check whether the children is there or not. So this is the label. This is the label, and we check whether children, if children is present, then map it out and return those menu items back again. So this is again a menu item itself. We spread the item, all the properties inside the item, and then we add a key value for React to know that okay, this is how I should render and optimize the things way if there's large list of items. So that's what the key value is meant for. And I always prefer to, like, whenever you have rendering of elements, like inside via using map, always put key as a parameter, because when the list goes long, the React the DOM, the React DOM package, if you see over here app.index.js, this will probably break as it finds like okay, it's kind of unoptimized, and that's why key is there to optimize the things out for you. So now not focusing more on the key now, let's focus on our logic here. So children, if there's children, then just return the menu item again with these properties and the key value, and that's it. So we have children, so it renders it. And again, if menu item has again children, like like this we have 3.1.1, again the same thing will happen. And if it doesn't have any children, it will just skip this whole part and just return us with the label that's you can see over here. And that's what pretty much it is. This is about menu item. Now, as I said that we need the whole list to, so let's focus on list now, menu list. So we are going to have menu list and we are going to add index.tsx over here. So now let's have menu list. So return, we are going to return empty fragment for now, just to let the linter know that we are we are going to collect for the future list. Okay, fine. Now let's have the menu list props, right? So as I said you earlier that we have menu list props defined. Let's go to our types file index. So menu list props has data, so we are going to use that. So data menu list props, let's import it quickly, fix it. Okay, types. So menu list props again. So what is data now? So data is the whole menu things that you get, right? Here is the whole, it's 1, 2, 2.1, everything. The data is data. That part only. This whole menu list is the data. We are going to use composition here, React composition technique, menu list, and we are going to pass the data. Okay, sorry, what I'm doing. Here, data, and if data is defined, data.map. Now we are going to see how we compose the whole stuff. Menu item. So we have menu item. So first of all, I need to import menu item, right? It's not coming up. So let's import it menu item from menu item here. So we have menu item. Okay, let's see. Yeah, menu item. Are you exporting it? No, we are not exporting. So export default menu item. Let's save it. Now let's use menu item here. Menu item. And now we are going to render all the value that e has, and also we have to get the key, as I said, and this will be the parent element. So let's say parent menu item, and give it a key value here. Let's have the key I. Let's give it a I value over here. So that's what it does. So we have pretty much the whole data now, and let me just format it once again. Okay, why it goes over there, I don't know. But yeah, it looks good to me. And that's pretty much about what we are going to return here. And let's see now what's next. How do we pass on the data and stuff? So, but we don't have the data. We haven't prepared the data yet, right? So we can, like, if we do this menu list, we are still going to get the error because okay, menu list is not defined. So let's get the menu list from components. Sorry, I guess this is the previous thing that's being rendered. I don't know, this is the issue with the code sandbox. No worries, let's focus on menu list, and we get this up menu list. And here if you see, data doesn't exist, so the whole thing is not rendering. So now we have to get the data first. And also mention here no data exists. So let's data and then no data exists, so that we know that this is being rendered. So no data exists, and we are going to remove the example here. Let's have the data now. So we have menu list, there's no data, and it's showing red because we haven't passed the data attribute. So let's render data, or like let's have the data first. So over here, let's go to src, create a folder, data source, and I'm just naming it so that you get to know like how we name it generally. Index.tsx const data source, and we are going to have the data. This is returning us. Okay, let's this data source, let's put it as an array here directly, and we are going to put it as menu item props, an array of menu item props. Okay, and now afterwards we are going to uh, just export the do the default export of the data source. That's what we are supposed to do. Now we have an array of all the items that we needed. Let's have the example up again over here. So example, just to refer the things out. Import example, um, components, example. So we have this example. So we are going to just have the same thing label as one. Let's give it a string, and then we have the new item blocks children. We don't have any children, right? So there's the catch. So we have to go to types. We have to set the children as an optional because there can be items, menu items present, which is now which don't have children. Like it cannot have the children. Something like we have item one. It doesn't have any children, right? So that let's make it an optional here, optional parameter or the optional key value, and this is what label one is. And now let's do it the same with label two, and we have label three. Under label 3, we will be having three children. So 3.1, 3.2. So we are going to do that. 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Similarly, we are going to have children for 2.1, 2.2. So let's paste it. So we have table 2.1 now. Apart from, we're not going to format it right now. I'm now going to have see children, whether we have children on label 2.1. No, we don't have, but we have on 3.1. So we are going to have a children value over here again, an array. Let's give it a comma and missing comma here. Yeah. So we'll format it, don't worry. So 3.1.1, we have 3.1.1, and again we have we don't have any children, right? So that's fine. So let's put give it inside an object. Uh-oh. Let's have this 3.1.2. So this pretty much, let's keep it an appending comma here. And yeah, we have this data source ready. And now we are going to import this data source. We are exporting it default, so just going to import it. Let's go to app and let's have this data source first import data source from data source. So we have the data source, and now we are going to data. Just pass it down to the menu list. Now we have data source here. Okay, there's cannot find module data source. Okay, sorry, we have to get okay this file folder. Yeah. So now we have let's remove this example. So now you can see we have the whole recursive menu here. It's missing some styles, and this is what how you can actually build recursive menus. And most important thing, let's delete this part first. We don't need it anymore. So if you go to menu list, and if you see here, we have data which is getting mapped. We are rendering menu item, and menu item, we have the menu item with all the things down. We have, if there's children, just rendering it out. And one more thing that I would like to give it over here, give a class name that I prepared earlier before the video as menu item. So I guess it will work because it's a global class. Okay. So 3.1, we have this thing coming beautifully. Now, next thing that you may want to do is building this collapsible menu. That's a part of another video. We are going to look at it, and we are going to see the same code itself, and we are going to see how to build this out. Okay, build the collapsible menu. It will cover the concepts like event propagation and how to handle the events and setting up the states and nothing much. So that will be pretty easy. So let's conclude this video over here right now, and I hope you learned a lot about this. You can try solving more recursion things, and even if you want to, like, if you can try build out the collapsible menu, that if the collapsible menu, I mean, like everything will be collapsed, only the parent elements will be shown, and on click of the collapsible menu item then it will be rendered. So that's pretty much I wanted to say about. the collapsible menu. It will be up in a video, so we'll be seeing that how it works. So if you have any questions so far, please put it up in the description, or you can reach me out on LinkedIn or Twitter. I've mentioned my profiles in the description, so we can connect over there too. So I hope you like this video, and if you like this, do subscribe, and I'll be up with more such videos for you where we'll be tackling up these crooks things and few things that we won't find on internet pretty easy way. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So thank you. Have a great day.